Fellow heroes and Force users of all ages, hello there. And welcome back to Inside the Tauntaun, a podcast in the multiverse of fandom. I'm Daniel Dawson, and I'm joined by my dear friends and fellow nerf herders, Alyssa Simmons.
Hello.
And Dino Nicandros.
Hello there.
All three of us here. Am I dreaming?
It's happened again. It's like the old days.
The old before the war. It's real nice and full up in this Tauntaun. Today we are discussing the most expensive TV show ever made in the history of the world, The Rings of Power. We're going to attempt to cover our thoughts and feelings about episodes 6 and 7, Udun and the Eye. These episodes were written by John D. Payne and Patrick McKay and directed by Charlotte Brandstrom.
Sure.
Yeah.
Was that a question, or was that just...
I just don't really know how to pronounce, because there's like little dots above the O's.
Oh, those are umlauts?
Yeah, umlauts. Yes, right.
Well, all right. Trust yourself. Carry on.
Trust in the Force. And of course, based off the hit series of books written by our Lord and Savior J.R.R. Tolkien, and by God, we're Tolkien fans.
I don't know who you are or where you came from.
I am Iron.
I thought they smelled bad. On the outside.
Smells like a new car in here.
Inside the Tauntaun, this is our opening song. Alyssa, Daniel, Dino, talking nerd stuff, come along. Inside the Tauntaun podcast, please like and subscribe.
Ooh. Ooh.
Spooky?
Is there spooky Halloween?
Time.
Oh, the rings
wow.
got spooky.
They did.
Get spooky.
They got very spooky.
spooky dookies.
Well, we have so much to cover in this freaking thing, but how are you both doing before we really dive in here?
I'm good. I mean, relatively speaking, I did finish that Dahmer show, which really kind of wrecked me a little bit.
Why did you do that?
Because I'm a sadomasochist, apparently.
Apparently.
Fine.
Oh,
Great show. Very well acted and
no,
spooky.
I won't be
as
watching
hell.
that. I will not be watching
Yeah,
that.
we're not going to be covering that on Inside the Tauntaun. Although, no.
My thing about it, I won't watch it anyways because you know how I feel about the violence.
Certainly. And about the queers.
Yeah, I hate them.
Yeah.
But
Dahmer was not the gay icon we were looking for.
No.
God.
The living families of his victims
Oh God.
are really, really upset by this show.
Very displeased.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't glorify him obviously by any means, but like, why are we spending time talking about him more?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because it was literally like, and they go over it in the show, like it's a big portion of why they go over the dad like making his like book about the whole situation and how they're like, he can't make money off of that. I mean, I think that nobody.
Yeah, I don't know. You all might have seen it, but like one of the family members who had to testify in court got sent an episode of the show.
Oh,
and
really?
Was like
by the
and
creative
no
team
one,
or just by some random person?
by a friend. No one from Netflix had contacted her about, and they literally used her exact court statement on the TV show. And they like cast someone who looked exactly like her, and she's like,
so
you know what
crazy.
I don't need to do?
Really?
Relive that.
Yeah, and it's interesting. It's so that seems so backwards because, like in the show, they that's like part of the show. Like they like say how upset all of the people were about them like profiting off of
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
and then now
here
they're
they
doing
are.
it again.
I was just like, are you guys like listening
guys?
to yourself? what
the
is
heck?
happening? Very, very curious.
Oh, well, I guess
it
I'm
was
glad that it's over for you.
Yes,
then.
I am too. And yeah, oh my God. I just like it. If you're going to watch that show, just don't watch like a bunch of episodes in a row, because like I was walking my dog outside and I was just like, am I a murderer now? I don't know. I just like I had some very it's a spooky show, man.
Yeah, that kind of thing makes you feel real icky.
I may skip it, and I like dark stuff, but I might. I don't know why that one. I was like, I might.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fascinated by serial killers. Obviously, like I
we all are.
I listen to 100 podcasts about them.
Same.
Fine.
But something about him in particular is just so next level evil.
Yeah.
That it really scares me.
Yeah, it's spooky. But it's like it is I mean, because everybody always wants to know, like, why did he do it, you know? And it's interesting to just see his like, you know, his journey, if you want to call it that. It's fucking creepy. Anyway.
Okay, well, Dino, any uplifting news?
This is a spooky podcast.
Oh, sorry, I forgot I did start it as a ghost.
You did. This is your fault.
Yeah.
Anything uplifting?
Or just like is it anything in your life?
I shouldn't be laughing. I think.
No, is there anything in your life that's like bringing you joy? Is there anything joyful going on in your world? What about Lord of the Rings? Is that joyful for you? Not really?
No, not really. I don't really care about anything anymore. So.
Okay, great.
Okay, great. Well,
no, everything's fine. I'm moving out of a sublet here in New York pretty soon, and
the inside of his inside voice just screamed when he said that. Everything.
Yes, I'm screaming inside.
So, did you find a more permanent spot, or are you moving into another sublet?
I'm looking for a more permanent spot.
And you'll need about 8 guarantors to sign a lease with you.
I'll need 8 guarantors, a pound of flesh, my firstborn.
I will
your cat.
ever forget when I was signing a lease in New York, and I was like, "This, no one makes this much money to qualify. Even like the scumbags of scumbag New York don't. How can they make this much money to qualify for a shithole in Washington Heights?"
You knew well before I did, Alyssa, but I've been just looking at floor plans ad nauseum the last several days, and how they construct some of these places defies physics, logic.
I looked at so
human
many,
rights,
like railroad style places where I'm like, I'm 28 years old. I don't want to walk through someone's room to go to the bathroom.
Literally.
What?
Stupid.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, they're
like how many people can we cram in this city?
Truly, and they're literally making like $1,000 apartments out of actual like literal converted closets. Yes. I'm like, and there's not even a window in there. Oh my god. It's insane.
My favorite apartment that I subletted for 6 months when I was in the city was legitimately servants' quarters off of the kitchen. It was a bedroom. I'm quoting it.
Good.
Off of the kitchen. The only thing that fit in there was a bed, and I had what's that called when you have? It's not a bunk bed, but a loft bed.
Yeah.
So I had my dresser and like a desk underneath the bed.
Yeah.
And then the bed. That was the entire room.
Great.
God.
But it was so cheap. It was like
we love
it was
cheap,
like
though.
it was like $500 a month.
Oh,
so I was like,
that's
all right.
That's incredible.
And it was right off the train. And I was like, yeah, I mean, these are servants' quarters, but I'll live here forever if I can.
I'll be a servant.
I am the servant.
It's fine.
The servant.
Anyways,
Musical theater.
Well, good luck to you and your
thanks.
Your apartment hunting endeavors.
Yeah.
You'll find a spot.
Yeah, and if anybody out there that's listening knows of a good place,
do not contact me. I have no interest in hearing from
you. I don't want your pity.
I don't want your pity or your mercy. I have no use for it.
Oh, wowsy.
Well, what else?
What else?
I'm fine. Also.
Yeah, you're fine.
I mean,
right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
how are you feeling this?
I'm fine. Yeah, I like this time of year. It's like starting to get colder here, which is nice.
I mean, again, I didn't ask, but I'm glad.
Yeah, I'm just gonna give it whether you ask or not.
Well, yeah.
I'm feeling good.
I'm fine.
Yeah, but I'm really excited to talk about these shows.
Oh my god, me too. Oh my god. Oh my.
We're doing
God.
just a heads up for the people listening. We're doing a very interesting marathon recording today. So we're covering
Big
these
old
2
marathon.
episodes of Rings of Power, and then we're also covering episodes 1 through 5 of
You were
Andor.
spoiling the magic. I was gonna make a costume change to make it look like I was in a different.
You were?
No.
Oh
not
my
really.
gosh.
No.
Oh wow. It's like the commitment. Yeah, so that's what's happening.
It's a good time to be a nerd.
Inside the Tauntaun.
Yes.
It's an exhausting time to be a nerd, honestly.
Truly. I know.
Truly.
Nothing
mean,
said about She-Hulk.
I honestly never thought that I.
She-Hulk.
Yeah. Oh,
Did
my.
we even?
I hardly
did we
know
even
her.
cover that? Oh yeah, we did.
We did.
One
We
episode.
did an episode. We did. And
We will do the rest of the
finish it
series
out, yeah.
someday in time.
Someday.
Well,
Oh,
should we do it? Should
I
we
guess.
do this thing?
Yeah, we're doing a thing. So,
Okay.
I'm gonna sort of break us down the. I mean, obviously, feel free to fill in your thoughts and feelings as I go. But episode 6, Udun. We get to see the birth of Mordor, which
Yeah.
is freaking cool as hell. And I just have to say, like, Dino, we have to pat ourselves on the back, because we predicted, we basically threw like everything but the kitchen sink at the window, but whatever the saying is, the kitchen sink at the window.
We threw the kitchen sink through the window.
Yeah.
Scary.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, we predicted a lot, I thought.
I think we were on the right track.
Yeah, yeah. We definitely said, a few things. And I'll say, we knew that they were going to lose, at least to some degree.
Sure.
Yeah.
And we surmised that the sword hilt might be a key to unlock the power of Mount Doom. Definitely said that, which is interesting. I'm very excited about that. When it happened, I was like, ooh! But yeah, very cool to see that. And also we were right. I think you were the one that said that Adar, being one of the first elves to be tortured and turned into an orc. So
Yeah.
kudos to you on
They
that.
have been hinting at that, and
yeah,
I think that's an interesting little story for him.
Yeah, I love it. I literally was like, I literally wrote down, very cool, makes for a potentially super deep and conflicted villain, the stuff of Dino's dreams.
True.
Fine. It's actually depending on since we're jumping right into that bit of storytelling. I think it sets up a very interesting dynamic between Adar and Sauron if you take anything Adar said at face value, that
Sure.
he's not interested in serving Sauron.
Well, and that he
his
killed
orcs
him,
are
allegedly.
and that he killed him. We know that's not true, or
Well-
at least not
Not
permanently
not,
true.
Yeah, not
Dead.
put that simply.
They're changing the story. Sauron is dead, and now he's the new leader.
Right.
That's it.
So there's some sort of deceit going on here, or
It's either that or
he just
actually
doesn't
truly,
know.
Yeah,
He
right.
thinks he did.
He totally truly
Yeah.
believes that he killed him, and it's possible that he killed his physical form. That
Fine.
because that's happened.
There's
before,
precedent.
too.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, but he is an immortal being.
And then it also kind of opens up the because he gives the impetus for quote
He's
unquote
impotent.
killing Sauron
That's right. Forgot about
as maybe if you spend enough time in Mordor you will be.
He's been tortured a lot, poor guy.
But he said, he's looking after his children, and
Mhm.
these orcs are kind of an exiled bunch, and
Our
it continues the humanization.
children.
It continues the attempted humanization of orcs, which is not something I ever thought we would
Right.
be interested in seeing,
Well,
much less actually seeing. But
it is interesting you say that too, because the Tolkien, later on in his life was kind of a little not like upset or bummed about the way he wrote the orcs, but he was I guess conflicted is the right way to say, because I think he just the fact that they're completely unredeemable characters. Like I think he just doesn't believe that anybody's like completely unredeemable.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I or maybe he just thinks that it's kind of a boring trope that like somebody is just fully evil and they're
just evil for the sake
Right.
of
What's the
being evil.
point? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So and this show could potentially, like, you know, give a nod to that and say, don't worry, Tolkien, we got your back. We're gonna give these orcs, you know, some kind of a, and I like, we've said this before, talking about the show, but like the way that they've done the orcs in this show are like definitely a standout, I think.
Yeah, yeah. What a workshop for the win yet again.
Yeah, everything is practical and like looks amazing, and yeah, and we've got it feels like we've got some deep orcs.
I have to say,
yes.
just because, you know, I do work at Knott's Berry Farm, so I'm going to be a little contrary here.
Please,
I love the way the orcs look,
but
some of the orc acting makes me feel like I'm watching a scare actor at Knott's Scary Farm.
Well,
and I'm not saying that that's good or bad. I'm just
certainly.
saying that sometimes in your episode that we're talking about right now, episode 6,
yes,
there were a few moments where I was like, just the physical look of them.
Yeah.
Like, this is super nerdy actory talk, but
Yeah.
like this, literally the look of them does like 98% of the work.
Yes.
Yep.
Right.
Just
and it
literally
totally is. Yes.
literally the way they look.
They
So
just gotta
for
stand
me,
there.
sometimes when it's like there's a look and then it's like like I'm like,
Oh my God,
wow,
were you in the show?
I was an orc.
You're amazing.
So just like sometimes it felt a little bit like a scare actor.
I feel you on that. And
that's just, it's not, I'm not saying that that's either
and this is
good nor bad. Just
No,
saying
and this
that's
is-
how I felt.
And then this, I don't want this to be to feel like a dig to stunt actors by any means, because there is a lot of very phenomenal stunt acting people out there. But you know, I think that we could probably suffice it to say that, like, you know, a lot of these orc background like guys are probably, that's not like they're the forefront of their, like, you know, they probably didn't go to Juilliard to study.
I mean, maybe
orc
their
acting.
experience is as a scare actor.
Yeah,
And there's
potentially.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, maybe they worked at Knott's Berry Farm.
Or Universal or any, but anyways,
We
that's all I'm
don't
gonna say.
discriminate here when it comes to horror things.
No, there were a few moments that kind of made me chortle.
Yes,
I was like,
yes.
oh,
I feel that.
I didn't need that. I already thought you looked scary. Just like it was a lot of snorting.
You just like want them, like one of them to have like a can filled with beans or whatever, like they do at the fucking Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah, exactly.
One of them's gonna have a freaking, what is it called? You know, like chainsaw.
Huh?
One of them's gonna
Oh,
have
a chainsaw.
A
for sure.
chainsaw.
Yeah.
Fun.
Even
I was
though
like,
they don't exist, but they're gonna have one.
I was like, a theremin? Like, what are you? What instrument?
Oh God. So we're still not convinced who Sauron is. At least I say we, but I am not convinced of who Sauron is in the show, or if we've already seen him.
You know
We've only
what?
got
I've
one
kind of
episode left.
I know. Crazy.
I just didn't. I was just curious. Like, did we? I think we may have said it at one point, but did we really think that like Sauron was going to be like the season 1 finale teaser? Like, I feel like that's kind of crazy.
I wasn't sure we were going to see, like, before the show even started, I wasn't sure we
Yeah.
were going to see Sauron at all in season 1.
Oh, gotcha. I mean,
In
I
season
thought in
1.
the whole show. I was like, what? It's
Yeah,
got
like,
rings of power.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Dino. I
Really?
thought maybe if they were gonna show him, it would be the very last episode of the season.
Gotcha.
Right, and talked about, but
Yeah.
never.
Yeah,
I
I
No,
guess
go
it
for
makes sense. But yeah, I was definitely expecting him to see him sooner. But who knows? Maybe we have. Maybe we have.
Well, and okay, since this is its own line of thinking, just who is Sauron game.
Who is Sauron? Let's play.
I wonder, and
Welcome back.
it was episode 7, that kind of made me start wondering, could the stranger potentially be Sauron?
Sure. If it is, it's a giant misdirect for sure. But I think
because the only reason I go down that way, 99% of me says that that's not the case. The only reason I go that route is because there was a time early in the Second Age, and this is according to Tolkien lore, that Sauron actually took a vested interest in healing Middle-earth.
Right.
He wanted to differentiate himself from Morgoth.
Yeah, he was about like order. He wanted to
I want to
order.
rule over something orderly, and so he took great pains to
a Middle-earth empire.
But we see the stranger has now displayed powers consistent with healing or regrowth.
He's even said the word heal, I think.
Yeah, life.
Yeah, life.
Yeah, we talk about that.
We then see these cultists again, who are seemingly.
Oh, you mean Eminem?
Yeah, I was going to say the people that are doing the music video. Yeah.
We see these cultists take a great interest in the when the comet, the comet crash site, and then they've seemingly been following the Harfoots and have a very interesting curiosity in the stranger. And it dawned on me that perhaps these are Morgoth cultists, these maybe followers of Sauron, and maybe they believe they have found him.
Yeah. Okay, it's interesting you say that because I really hadn't thought about it until like you started talking about it. Maybe he's not Sauron yet. I'm wondering if perhaps these cultists, if they are indeed cultists, are like searching for like the next vessel to inhabit Sauron. Like they like know how to sort of imbue his spirit into something, and they're like, we're the magical creature. We will make you our servant of Morgoth. I don't know.
Yeah, why not? I mean, quite possibly. We just don't know what happened to Sauron, period. So,
True.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
We just know that he allegedly died physically.
Yeah.
According to J.R.R., who I wouldn't believe.
Not unworthy, an untrustworthy narrator, yes.
Yeah, I think for me at the moment, I don't think that the stranger is Sauron.
Yeah, I'm
think
not on board with that yet either.
These and they're quoted in the credits as the dweller, the ascetic, and the nomad.
Yes.
These hooded peeps. I think that they obviously sense and now are seeing firsthand the type of power that this stranger has.
Yeah. And they're trying to snuff it out, maybe.
And or try to get him to be with them.
Well, yeah, because he's
you know what I mean? Like he's still and he's still really like not cognizant about it much.
That's a really good point. Right. He they could be just trying to pull him to their side.
So if they're like, there's this like insanely powerful creature, we don't know what or who.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't even know how to speak yet.
We need to bring him into our ways or whatnot.
Yeah, because he's like, I mean, he like he was so willing to believe, like, one of these little Harfoots. Like he's like, I'm bad. He's like, no, you're good. He's like, oh, okay, I'm good.
Oh, okay, I'm good.
Yeah, it's like exactly. It took him like 2 seconds to be like, oh, yeah, sure. So he's a very impressionable. He's kind of like, he's like a 5 to 7 year old right now.
Yeah, he's like a little kid.
Yeah, totally.
Right.
Just experiencing the world. He's just looking for his mommy, poor guy. So yeah, going on. I was just saying that the episode was action packed and surprisingly gory. Mostly orc gore, which what we're used to, but even for orc gore, I was like, what? Like the eyeball blood dripping. I was like,
that was.
It's a lot. I was thinking about you the whole time. I was
I'm
like,
sure you were.
Alyssa loves this.
I was closing my eyes.
She loved this.
And plugging my ears.
Oh, man. Well, I made a very, very brief outline of the episode, but we're just going to go through it super quick so we can talk about it. So Adar and the orcs go to Ostirith. And they find it's empty except for Arondir. And and this is another thing that we predicted. He takes down the tower and it tumbles onto the orcs and Adar, which was really fun. Very like Legolasly. Legolasly. It felt like that for sure. Then we cut back to the Southland people who gave him the slip. And are back in their village ready to set up their town to be one big trap a la Home Alone. At sea, we have a scene with Galadriel and Isildur. That was a nice scene, honestly.
I liked that.
Yeah, it was nice. We got some new backstory about Isildur's mom drowning, which I thought was interesting. It's like, and we go back to I don't think that is like talked about in the book, so I thought it might be new. But anyways,
not that I recall.
We go back to the village. The trap setting well underway. Arondir is trying to destroy the spooky blood sword to no avail. Can't do it because duh, you idiot! It's freaking evil. Nighttime fight scene, which was really cool. Seems like things were going really well, a little too well. And then they realized they were fighting their own people. No wonder they were so easy to kill. Whoopsies. Then the real fight ensues, and arrows go flying, and Bronwyn gets shot. And I'm over here thinking, oh, she's
a goner. I think I said that last week. She was a goner.
She's like, oh,
yeah,
here we go.
I
it's
keep
like
thinking
Dino's
she's
right
dead.
in. Yeah.
Always. Yeah, I keep always thinking she's dead.
But Amazon said, not today. Another gory scene with her getting her wound cauterized. Even for me, I was like, ouch, that doesn't look nice. And then a glorious shot of the Númenóreans riding horseback through what I assume is New Zealand. Like, my God, it's pretty. And I know that there's people out there that are like, the Númenóreans weren't horseback riding folk. So this is amazing. I'm just like, just enjoy
just
how pretty it looks.
Okay?
Damn it.
Right. Well, and they were also like, they got there awfully quickly, and I was like,
I mean, yeah. Listen, this is a magical show about elves and orcs and people.
Yeah, I just
have the suspension of disbelief. That's the timing worked out. Okay?
Yeah, they're being helped by the what's the name of the Maiar of the sea? What's his name? It doesn't matter. They're being lifted and pushed faster by. Anyway, I digress. And then we're back to the Southland and the scene where Adar is asking super nicely for the spooky blood sword. So he murders a handful of people.
Just
stab, slash.
Hey guys, can I have the sword back? Oh, okay.
Those were slow stabs too. Oh God, it was awful.
They showed it. Yeah, they
I
was expecting them like numerous times to cut away, but they're just like, oh, we're just gonna watch them being gored. Is that the right word? Gored?
Yeah, sure. Gored.
Gored.
I mean,
I'll accept it.
Yeah, surprisingly gruesome scene. We loved it. Adar gets the sword back because obvi. He hands it off to stupid old dumb face, who then takes it away on a special side mission. I'm forgetting his name right now. stupid dumb face from the bartender of the village. That's like,
oh yeah,
Waldrig.
Waldrig. Thank you. We're
Yes.
gonna make the Southlands great again.
Yep.
And sick fight scene with the Numenorians slaying mostly everything, and Galadriel like doing some super sexy horseback
horse
circus.
stuff,
Yeah, that was friggin' cool.
that was so cool, Ken.
We loved that. I was like, ooh, nerd nipples really hard. And Adar starts running away, and Galadriel and Halbrand run after him on horseback. We get some familiar words. I was like, my little elf ears perked up when she said, Noralim, which is, if you remember from Fellowship of the Ring, Arwen, like, as she's riding the horse, says the same thing to her horse, which basically means like, hurry up, horsey, go fast.
Literally translated to that.
Literally translated. Noralim, go fast. Just sounds
Pick it up,
cuter.
little pony.
I don't know why they just didn't say that. It's much better.
That would have been really cool.
Yeah. Halbrand and Adar have they got a history apparently, which is interesting. I thought they didn't really go into it, but he's like, "Do you remember me?" So I was like, "Nope, don't remember you." He's like, "Oh yeah,
did I kill your lady?
Did I kill your family? Oh, I'm so sorry." Galadriel interrogates Adar and is definitely playing bad cop, like genocidal, kill an entire race of beings, bad cop.
Yes.
Like, wow. That was a little surprising to me. I mean, I guess I don't know. Like, I see that they're like definitely trying to show her like character arc where she goes from this badass warrior to like, I shall diminish and go into the West, lady. But like, whoa! I was like, dang, bitch, you got a lot of anger up in that shit. Adar drops some interesting lore bombs. This is where he says that he apparently killed Sauron, or at least he thinks that he did, or he's a lying liar. Yeah, and I was like, it just presents an interesting conversation about like, you know, how he believes that the orcs are, you know, we're all children of Iluvatar, you know, like, but Galadriel's like, you're an evil spawn of Morgoth. Yeah, it can be both, I think, potentially, which is interesting, very interesting. Makes the orcs much more, you know, compelling to have that in mind. Then Halbrand gets to be the king of the South for an afternoon. Just like for
a few minutes,
literally like a few seconds.
That felt way too joyous. I was like,
no.
joy. The joy here is about gosh,
hip, hip, hooray! I was like,
they don't even get to finish the hooray on the third
really,
one. They're like hip hip.
Oh my god! I also, I don't know if it like had this effect for you too, but it almost felt like hilarious because like it just happened
how
so
dark
fast.
how dark everything was prior to that moment. Yeah, sure.
And then they're like, let's all lift a glass to our new king,
to this guy,
that we just met. I mean, that's seriously like what it felt like. I was like, I know, and like, you know, we talked about in the last episode with Dino that like there's times where we want the show to like go like to slow down. This was one of those moments because it felt like oh, okay, he's gonna be king of the Southland now. But it felt like they you know, because they were waiting for the king of the Southland, but I guess they didn't know who he was. It would have been nicer if they knew who he was. They're like, oh, it's him. They're like, oh, you're the guy. Okay, yeah, you're gonna be our king then. Like, I don't.
Hail the guy.
Hail this guy.
Wait, what was your name again?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Are we sure that you're legit?
Yeah. Like,
okay.
Oh no, he does have that pouch with the little mark on it.
Oh, you got the pouch. Okay. All hail the guy.
What was your name again? Yeah, so that felt a little rushed to me, but it was still it was fine because I knew that it was only going to be for like 2 seconds. Yes. Then we realized that Adar did the old switcheroo with the spooky blood sword, and the real one is with old fart poo poo butt face bartender, who has taken it back to Ostirith, where as we guessed it. It was used as a key. It unlocks the dam of water.
Yes.
we find out that all the trenches they were digging were for that purpose, which I thought was interesting and cool, to direct the water into Mount Doom, where it hits the lava and causes a catastrophic eruption. We hear the orcs start chanting, Udun, Udun, which is the title of the episode. And the first thing that came to my mind, I don't know if it came to your mind at all, but Gandalf's like one of I think most people's favorite Gandalf line as he's fighting the Balrog of Morgoth and Khazad-dûm. He shouts, "You cannot pass! I am a servant of the secret fire, wielder of the flame of Mordor. The dark fire will not avail you. Flame of Udun! Go back to the shadow, you shall not pass!" So yeah, like the flame of Udun, Udun is like, it has numerous like, names, or not numerous definitions. It's been connected to numerous things.
It means hell.
Yeah, more or less.
In Elvish language, but
yeah, there's I think that the Morgoth's like lair way back in the day, Utumno, was also nicknamed Udun.
Yes.
And there's there's a place in Mordor that's also named, I think, like the Lake of Udun, or no, not the Lake of Udun. What is Valley of Udun? I think it's like basically like kind of near where the Black Gates are. It's, you can see it on the map. It's Udun. But yeah, numerous things.
It was the are we talking about the lake within Mordor?
I don't know if it's the lake.
That's the Sea of Nirnan.
You're right about that. Yes, that is correct. I think it's just like a valley. It's just like it's like right when you walk through the Black Gates, you're like, oh, we're in that, and on your left, it's Udun. Yeah. So they're. I mean, I think that they're kind of like equating the fires of Mount Doom, like, as that being like the power of Udun, or the flame of Udun. So yeah, that's the last thing we see is them all getting engulfed in the pyroclastic cloud. I know that word because I love the movie. What's it called?
Volcano?
No. Oh, well, that's a great movie too, honestly. Because I love a freaking disaster film. No. Oh God, with Pierce Brosnan and
Dante's Peak.
Thank you, Dante's Peak. I love that movie. It's so bad, but so good. Anyways, so yeah, crazy. I really liked that episode a lot, honestly.
I did too. I thought it was a very clever and sensical way to bring Mordor into the fold, and
yes.
Yeah, I mean, it still baffles me that they're achieving this scale on.
It is pretty
on television, visually speaking.
Truly, because I mean, like that. I mean, like going back to that one scene with the freaking horses, like riding in the middle of like that. I mean, if it wasn't practical, good kudos to
it
the
really
FX
looked
department.
practical. Yeah,
it really did. It was phenomenally shot. It looked gorgeous. I mean, I have to assume that it was real, at least a portion of it, because I remember like back when they were filming Lord of the Rings, because I watched like every single hour of special feature,
of course,
because you did, that's what you do. We didn't have as much content back then, guys.
I have watched those appendices several times over.
So many times. But I remember them like having like a portion of like the Riders of Rohan that were real, and then
they had I think like 200 riders,
which is still like
were actually on the field.
Still a lot. Yeah.
And then they multiplied them out to 3,000.
Because honestly, I think in this shot, I don't remember. I mean, I would venture to say there was definitely no more than 200.
Yeah, it looked pretty real to me.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
so,
I think
if they can film like 200 Rohan riders, and this is probably just a walk in the park for them. But it just looked gorgeous because we're now filming in like ultra 4K EHD.
Right.
Wowity wee wow. Very cool.
Yeah, I was really happy with this episode because I did not particularly care for episode 5.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, tell us, because you weren't around.
Yeah,
Tell
I wasn't
us.
here. I mean, I don't know. I was in a little bit of a weird mood when I watched it. So I think that
Did Dundee
partially,
poop in your lap?
yeah, just all over.
Yeah.
No, I felt like it took some steps back from what they had set up in episodes 1 through 4.
Sure.
And so I was like, oh man.
I'm trying to remember what happened.
The thing is that is kind of common. We've talked about this on our show before, of like, you know, that sort of like mid-season trickiness.
Sure.
Which can either, you know, totally blow your mind or be a little bit like, okay, we're still trying to figure
what
some
is the
stuff
show? Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
And for me, the things that were spooky and not in a fun way about episode 5, they completely got me back with episode 6 and 7.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think
It was a big. It was like you know, like the what's it called is it the volleyball, like, you know, they're like tossing the
they're exactly.
That was episode 5. They're like, okay, and then episode 6 and 7 kind of finally served the ball.
I was very like the things that I love. Honestly, the things that I love about like both Lord of the Rings and Star Wars are kind of the down moments that we get with characters to see relationship and history and unlikely pairs. That's something for me that I'm like, oh, I love that. And Tolkien like loved that so much. And I was like, we really haven't seen that. We've seen The Stranger and Nori.
Yeah.
And Galadriel and Halbrand. Like,
but
yes, but I was like, you know, and you look at the books and it's just so full of that, and that's such rich, interesting writing.
I was gonna say in this show, for me, that you know, flavor in this show is and really honestly the heart of the show, I would say, is the relationship between Durin and Elrond.
Yes, and I was so happy that they took the time in episode 7, which we're going to chat about soon, because that was great. We got a couple of other unlikely pairs in this penultimate episode. So
I think I've said this before too, like, because I remember, you know, Fellowship. Well, I don't know if I really like. No, Fellowship of the Ring didn't really like bring me like emotional tears or anything like that, like Return of the King did. That definitely wrecked me. But because you know that you could kind of like, I think we've said this before, that like season 1 is going to be sort of feel Fellowship of the Rings-y, I think, in terms of arc.
Yeah, and it has to. I mean, you have to set. There's so much information. You have to take the time to set it up, or else obviously nothing is going to be meaningful.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And I think that's the I think I'm just starting to feel the touches of like, oh, I care about these people. Like it took me a while, but like especially like Durin and Elrond's situation. But I like when like Durin starts to like get choked up, I'm like, that's really freaking sweet. Yeah.
And obviously, I love the action of Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
But if you've read the books, you know that they truly are equal parts action and equal parts this sort of like taking time to.
I mean, the word fellowship is literally in the title of one of the books.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that, and also like the delicious Tolkien language, which like is, you know, unparalleled in, you know, fantasy writing. And I think that that's been a complaint of like, you know, I think you know, of like out of the haters out there, like there is a relatively valid complaint that it's nobody's fault other than like nobody is as good of a writer as Tolkien is. It's difficult to be writing a show that's based in the Tolkien universe and not have that Tolkien language to back you up, because they have used some of the Tolkien language, and when it happens, it's like, oh my gosh, it was so pretty.
Yeah.
And then they go back to like the normal TV writing, and it's kind of like, oh,
we're
there's
obviously
a
out of
very
the
stark
Tolkien now.
difference.
Yeah, of course.
So, and I get that. It doesn't like completely take me out. There's only been like a few times where I was just like, oh, that was a little wonky, but like, yeah, most of the time I'm along for the ride, especially when they do bring in some of that Tolkien language, because it's like,
yeah,
anyway,
for sure.
Appreciate. Well, should we? Do we have any other thoughts about episode 6? I mean, I'm sure we can just go back if we think of something, but we should.
Racking my brain here.
Reckon. Did you want to talk about how much you love Adar more, or?
No, I think.
No.
I think you covered that. I would say the narrative juice is in 7.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, also, I was gonna say too,
Alluded
just and this is kind of both episode 6 and 7, but I think it's solidified. I was already not really on board with Halbrand. I think there was a second that Halbrand was Sauron. I think that there might have been like something about episode maybe 4 or 5 where I was like, oh, he's saying a lot of things that are very Sauron-like. But yeah, I think that like there's so many choices that he's made so far. It's like if he's Sauron, he's playing like the super duper long crazy game. Like
which won't be much longer because it will be out Friday.
Which it can't, it can't be. So yeah, for sure.
To me at this point, if he was Sauron, I'd be like, I don't know if
weird.
I would be like, wow, what a crazy twist. I would be like,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, should we get into the meat of this penultimate
Yes.
shebang?
Oh my goodness, you used my favorite word, penultimate.
I did it just for you.
I literally forgot it was even the penultimate. That's so exciting.
Well, this episode is called The Eye, which I'm sure made everyone's nerd ears perk all the way up. But I think the eye in this episode means a lot of things. It's not necessarily the eye of Sauron. I think it's a lot of eyes. Okay.
Well, it does open.
It starts off with an actual eye.
Yeah. Whoa.
Opening. Beautiful, stunning, incredible shot. Hats off to the director
and hats off to her like being okay with all that dust on her freaking eyes. Jeez.
God.
Oh my gosh, it was.
How does she not have mesothelioma or asthma? How all these people are gonna have black lung by the time this is done?
Jeez.
It's probably just sugar, like spun sugar.
Yeah.
Oh no, I meant the characters, but sure, actually.
Yes, but also
the actors.
I was talking. Yeah,
you're talking about the actual characters.
No,
they've all got the black lung.
Yeah, they're all dead
they knew what they signed up for.
Yeah. So we get this amazing opening shot of Galadriel opening her eye.
Yeah.
After she was knocked out by this volcanic explosion. And then this next section I like to call Who Survived? So she's walking around trying to see. I mean,
it's everyone.
It's basically everyone. And maybe not someone, but probably they're still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just absolutely brutal. There's babies screaming and crying, and people are on fire, and a horse on fire.
There's a horse on fire.
So
horse on fire.
Horsey on fire.
Jesus.
And she finds my least favorite character, Theo. God, I hate him.
Oh,
Theo.
Come on, Theo.
Not the character, just the actor is just horrible. Sorry, kid.
Yeah, he's
better. He's better in these scenes with Galadriel than he is in the rest of the series.
Yeah. He reminds me of a not quite as good Will from you know what I'm talking about?
I mean he's not. Totally. He's not
from Stranger Things.
He's not doing like constipated kid acting like Wanda's kids.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's still not what I want to see when there when there's just a lot of really good preteen actors out there.
Fine.
That's all I'll say.
Yes.
Anyways, we get one of these pairs that I was talking about.
This
could be, yeah.
Yeah.
I think like I said, I think he did much better in this episode than he has in the others.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh
my god! And if you're watching, we love you. You're amazing.
go to acting school.
Oh my god.
So
God.
rude today. This is the rudest I've ever
She's
been.
spicy.
I mean,
so,
Alyssa is not a good person.
Yeah, obviously.
I mean,
No.
Obviously.
No.
No, I really like barely ever say anything negative on this podcast.
I know. I know.
she just says it off the air,
She does, right.
or off the recording.
So we get one of those unlikely character pairings, which are just lovely with Theo and Galadriel. And I liked that.
Yes.
Then we see the Queen Miriel, and she's joining the efforts to rescue all these people alongside Isildur and his pals, one who's definitely dead.
Yeah.
He's very much dead.
Yeah.
And
we get somebody yelling, Isildur!
Yes, and
Which made me excited.
she loses her vision in this process.
Yeah, which is interesting.
And Isildur is missing. I don't think he's dead. What do you think?
No, they're changing the story. Sauron and Isildur are both dead now.
All right, I get it.
This is a different universe.
They're just retconning all of that.
That's right.
See ya, guy.
Yeah, their ring is actually a toaster and
Toaster of power. Just burnt toast all over.
God.
all of your toast will be burned.
So obviously he's not dead. The Harfoots arrive at the Grove and they're so excited to be there, but unfortunately they discover that it has been laid to waste by the volcanic eruption.
Oh, whoops.
It's a small Middle Earth after all.
Yeah.
Oh.
Although it is
Oh god.
Although it is nice to know, I think this is probably the first time that I think that we're getting a little bit more of a proximity alert as to where everybody is.
Yes. That is helpful, and it did feel like one of those moments in the books where you're like, oh, okay,
they are connected.
That's where they are.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So assumedly they're they're not in Mordor, but they're relatively close.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And Sadik is just like, yeah, this happened because there's evil but I do want the stranger to try and fix this. So can he go ahead and try and fix this?
Right.
And he the stranger puts his hands on the tree and he repeats Invignata Lote Akuita. And thank you so much.
That was nice.
In Elvish, Invignata means heal, Lote means flower, and Akuita means live.
Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase.
So it's looking like maybe something might be good, but no, a tree branch falls on Tilly and Nori, and the Harfoots at that point are like, all right, you gotta go. You really gotta go,
At this
guys.
point, I feel really bad for this stranger. He's trying so hard.
I do. And Sadik has this scene with him where he's like, I have seen this, star map, but maybe the big folk can help you. That's where they are, but you need to get out of here.
Yeah, we haven't seen this in a long time.
Then before he leaves, Nori hands him this apple. It's such a gorgeous shot. And
yeah.
There actually were just from the start of this episode, it felt very biblical to me.
Well, they made a big deal about the shot of the apple being passed
that was so biblical, but it was very, very beautiful.
Yes.
And so cut to the following morning, the grove is now bursting with life. The trees are alive. There's flowers everywhere. The Harfoots are just a merry a merry band picking all the fruit and offerings.
Spoke too soon, apparently.
And then, because it has drawn the attention of the music video crew. Here they are.
Yes, here to come sing Enya for everyone.
And say where the road.
That was the song that was in my head too.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
Perfect.
I was like, there's so many. It could have been. I mean, not even the Lord of the Rings one.
Oh yeah.
Uneven song.
Or my favorite Enya song, from Peru to Naboo to the Orinoco. So as we said, these three-hooded strangers are credited as the Dweller, the Ascetic, and the Nomad. Nori tries to lead them off the path because they are about to follow this trail of flower life.
Yeah. Oh no, it's not that way. It's.
Oh no, he went that way. Nori's father tries to drive them off with a torch, but this is a bad idea because the Eminem character sucks the flame, and then
which was very cool looking, by the way.
Very cool looking.
It was very cool.
And destroys the Harfoot's entire settlement.
I'm still not 100% sure how they did that shot, because
right? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, because it felt like somebody should have gotten hurt, but they didn't. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So
he basically did like what you do to what we do to a candle,
Right.
like with a giant torch.
With a giant torch in their hand.
Yeah, very cool.
So the following day, Nori is like, I'm going to find my friend, but she's not going alone because Poppy, also known as New Samwise, is going with her.
Yes.
And
they're giving us
even
major Fellowship of the Ring vibes.
And even Nori's mom, Marigold, is like, I'm going to.
I'm coming too.
And cranky Sadik, reluctantly agrees to guide them. Now we go back to Khazad-dûm, and Elrond is making a strong case for the dwarves, helping the elves, letting them use their supply of mithril. And the deal that he offers them is that the elves will provide game, grain, and timber for 500 years.
That's a long time.
That's a long time for
a lot
dwarves.
of lumber.
But King Durin is cranky old guy.
Yeah, he doesn't like it.
And he says, I will not risk dwarven lives to help the elves cheat death.
Well, and his thought process on all of it is so interesting, and so I know he's he's talking to the nerds of Lord of the Rings too, because we all know how the story ends. Right. And we're starting to wonder oh wait, is this their fault? Should they have not helped? Because because it sounds like because of their helping the elves, they set in motion this, basically the whole Third Age story.
Right.
Right.
So yeah, that to me was very compelling. I was like, so hearing him say that, but obviously he doesn't know what's going to happen. But in his defense, basically saying that this is the way that the Iluvatar, the Valar, willed it to be. So why should you change that?
Sure.
Which is so interesting. It's some of the. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with it. It's kind of very on par with people who are I'm not going to take medication because God wanted me to have this disease and now I'm going to die. So, it's no.
Well, maybe you could think about it, if you believe in God, that he helped inspire the person who invented that medicine. And
sure. Anyways.
But this is obviously very heartbreaking and challenging for Durin, and he has got this awesome scene with Disa, who I adore.
Fucking awesome. Yes.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's wielding an axe and just
And let me say, like, I mean, the same thing with the Harfoots. Like, it would have been so easy to make these guys like annoying and like cheesy and stupid, but like they're so compelling and so sweet and endearing and like truly like the heart of the show. I feel things more when I'm in this part of the story.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, me too. These characters in particular have just I'm there with them.
There with them.
And Elrond comes back and, ultimately Durin, like, without telling him it's not going to happen, like, just with his eyes alone.
So he's just such a good little actor.
Yeah, they're all great, minus Theo. And he is so distraught, Elrond, they have this, like, sweet goodbye. And Elrond understands. I mean, it's a lot to ask.
It's a lot.
And he leaves, and Durin, in frustration, throws this, little piece of mithril over to the corner of this table, and immediately it starts regenerating and healing the leaf.
Whoa, okay.
From Linden.
Which, again, is now, confirmation that it actually does work. Because I think before we were all just thinking, oh, that might be just a lie that Sauron, like, you know, put upon. But it
and the moment that both Disa and Durin see that happen, the acting was so fantastic.
Yes.
And she looks at him, and he immediately calls for Elrond. I just got, like, full body chilies. It was so
sweet.
So great. So
it's cool, though, that they're going back on the mithril thing. Like, it's nice that they are like, I mean, for a show that's called Rings of Power, it's nice that they're actually like trying to give us an explanation of like what the rings power actually is and what they do.
Right.
Because there really isn't much of a description in the books about what they do, other than that they gave them magical powers and that they made them powerful. And I guess that's, at least in the terms of the Lord of the Rings stories, like that's all you really need to know, I guess. But it's something, it's been a mystery that I've always wanted to know, like what power did, like, Galadriel and Celeborn and all these people have, So it's very fun to now know what mithril really does. Even if it isn't really canon, guys. Okay, I know it's just a fan fiction, but I like it. It's fun.
It's fun. Okay. Then we have that scene with Elrond and Durin in the mine, which we were talking about, which was really nice to have this kind of slow down moment in this episode, because there's a lot happening, and it was so nice. Their acting is so great in it, and Durin reveals that dwarves have secret names that only essentially family members know, and he's about to reveal his name to Elrond, and he says, let's wait, but it's just such a
save it for the end
moment to take a pause in the action and show this brotherhood between these two guys of
really
different
love
races.
Each other.
And, it's very, very sweet, but unfortunately is interrupted by the king discovering the
queers in the closet. Quit making out in here.
Take off those high heels.
Get out of my house.
And then we've got this really hard scene with King Durin and Durin the Fourth.
Ooh, and it was good though.
It was juicy.
So great.
Yeah,
it was so great. Talking about how he was sick as a baby and everyone just thought he was going to die, and he held him in under the fire with his chin up so his breathing would heal while his mother slept, and all of these just really rich
backstory,
beautiful backstory, and ultimately ends up with Durin saying, well, Elrond is like a brother to me, as if mom
pooped her out,
actually bore him, and
Mama, bunny.
And the king strips Durin of his princedom and just strips him naked.
I was like, you
throws him off the cliff.
Durin strips. Period.
Strips.
Durin does a strip show.
Ding, ding, ding,
What
ding,
kind of
ding.
show is this?
And it's really sad and
Yeah, it is.
But Disa has a scene with him where she, tells him that this
You're
isn't
gonna be
the end.
king, bitch.
This isn't the end, and we will, take our rightful place.
It's like that
and
mithril
lead
is
our
ours.
people. And as
Also, I really like too that she because I think in there's a fair amount of Tolkien being like, yay, girl power, but in this particular story, she doesn't say at least the way I kind of heard what she was giving to us is that she wasn't oh, you're going to rule us. She says, no, we're going to rule together.
Rule.
It felt
Yes.
very we have even even power in the world, which I think I liked that. I thought it was cool.
Yes, I liked that too.
But
the king is like, cover it all up, cover all the holes in the mine.
Cover up the holes.
And
cover up all these gay holes.
Then
okay. Oh.
Then we get this shot, following the mithril.
Oh yes.
And unfortunately, what we thought was coming, deep below, a Balrog has awakened.
The Balrog of Morgoth.
Which this has kind of bothered some people in that the Balrog should not have awoken this early.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
in
we
the
have so
timeline,
much time to shove into this.
Right.
These 50 episodes, or right? 50, right? 50.
Well, and we have 50,
Possibly.
I think. Yeah.
50 hours.
And
yeah.
I'm not convinced that this is the Balrog that we see.
Fine.
Sure.
With Gandalf, it might be a Balrog.
Yes.
Because I maybe not everybody out there and just the casual Lord of the Rings viewer doesn't really know that there were many Balrogs that were a part of Morgoth's army. So that this could be one of them. It might be the same one. If it is the same one, then this is it is the impending doom of Khazad-dûm.
Sure.
I mean, how many Balrogs could be in Khazad-dûm? You know what I mean? So it kind of feels like this has to be.
This has to be the one,
right? Which inevitably means that is this the teaser for I mean, because they can't get rid of Khazad-dûm in the first season. I guess they could. They could. I mean, they. But
because Gimli will have had to have. Spent time that happened in the Third Age, I believe.
Yeah,
or the early Third Age.
The destruction of Khazad-dûm.
I thought so. I'll double check on that.
Yeah, I've got the appendices right here.
Forward.
Let me pull it out.
Yeah. But yeah, I really honestly have no idea where they're going, which is exciting, honestly. Because I think it would be not as fun if we're oh, here it comes,
Right.
But to see the Balrog, he looked good though. He looked really cool.
Yeah, so at the start
really
of
doesn't like leaves.
No, get
Sorry?
that away. Get that away.
Really doesn't like leaves.
Oh, right.
So that leaf fell down. He's like, "Roar!"
Khazad-dûm was still thriving at the start of the Third Age. And
yes,
it was okay.
So they might just be truncating it, but that well, we don't know what's going to happen with if the Balrog is going to.
Well, it's interesting
all
too because I think that there may be portions of Khazad-dûm that were cut because he Well, when you say thriving, like almost at its peak,
no, but it was still.
It wasn't destroyed.
It was still the
there.
center of their civilization, or one of the centers of their civilization.
Right, because I remember how Gimli was just oh, we're gonna have a feast and we're gonna be doopa, but but they were apparently attacked by orcs and cave trolls and the like. And it wasn't the Balrog that killed Gimli's family. But maybe not. Maybe some of them, but not all of them. I don't know. Yeah. So that's it'll be great to. I mean, I don't think they're gonna get that far, obviously, because I don't think we're gonna get in the Third Age, but maybe they're gonna combine some things.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see. We shall see.
We'll fucking see.
Then we get this bonding scene with Theo and Galadriel, and they both feel very responsible for what's happening right now, and she opens up and gives us some new information. She tells Theo about her brother and her husband.
Yes, Celeborn.
Yes,
Celeborn. Which is interesting too. Yeah, because like I guess there's it is I mean it's new information than from the books. I don't think it's not like I don't think it's a what do you call it, a retcon by any means, but it's like it's just new information. Like adding to so I what did she say again? She doesn't believe that he's dead, right?
She just said that when he left, that was the last time she ever saw him.
Saw him again.
Right. Which is like, so what's that backstory? Very interesting. And are we going to see him later, or like, because, we all know that they eventually meet up again in Lothlorien and, bang in the trees.
Good old tree bangs.
Tree banging.
And then she has my favorite line of this episode here, which felt very Tolkien. It just, felt spiritual and yummy. She says, there are powers beyond darkness at work in this world.
Yeah.
Perhaps on days such as this, we have little choice but to trust their designs and surrender our own.
Yeah, and that is Tolkien.
And it reminds me of Gandalf as well.
Oh,
it's
I
very...
believe, if I'm not
is it word for word?
I think
word
Samwise
word
Gamgee actually says that in the
really
book, I think.
Okay, like the exact thing, or
well,
just
no,
like they expounded upon it.
I'm just gonna put it into Google. What are the words again?
There are powers beyond darkness at work in this world. Yeah, I mean, it felt. I wasn't sure if it was like an exact. It didn't. I didn't think it was an exact quote.
I don't. But
it felt. It felt very, very Tolkien.
Yeah,
so.
It's like it's like he's like looking up at the sky and they're like near Mordor and like the clouds part and they see this like a star and he like starts talking about like. He's like, Mr. Frodo, there's nice things up there, It's like kind of like a hopeful moment. Like, see, even in all the clouds, like you can still see the stars. It was like that.
Right.
There's making that metaphor. I can't remember what he says, but
but loved it.
Loved it.
Now we're back where the Númenóreans have set up their camp, and we learned that Bronwyn and Arondir have survived. As well as Halbrand, who is very, very injured.
Yes.
Galadriel is like, he needs...
Again, if he was like Sauron, like, man, he is really, really playing it up. He's doing a great job.
I'm so hurt.
Oh, I
don't want to be king.
So Galadriel is like, we need to get him elvish medicine, or he's not gonna make it.
And we're again getting major Arwen vibes here.
Oh yeah.
Noralim.
So they ride out. Oh, we do get a scene with the I didn't include that in there. We get a scene with the Queen Miriel and Galadriel, and she's like, don't pity me, elf, but we need to ready ourselves for battle. And Galadriel says the elves will be ready, and so the Númenóreans are leaving, but in theory, they'll be back to help. In theory.
Yeah, and it does answer a question Daniel and I asked. I think. Well, I don't know. We talked about it kind of from the beginning. Or rather, when the Númenóreans set out on their voyage, would this be the last time that that expeditionary force ever saw Numenor, considering what we know to happen.
There.
But,
yeah.
So there is going to be some back and forth, which is interesting.
It makes sense to me because like it's way too. They spent too much money on that set. They gotta use it for more.
Oh my gosh! Right?
They just gotta
at least a couple more times.
Yeah. And I mean, it's possible that they could just go back there for like, you know, little side things, but I think that they need to have a few main characters there in order to, you know, give those scenes more weight, I guess. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
You're like, we're back in Numenor again. Who gives the shit? You know, like, you gotta have some of those main characters.
Yep. So now we go to our last scene of this episode. We're back in the volcanic.
Oh,
Ash,
it's a conversation between Gandalf and Frodo. Here we go.
Okay. We're back to the quote.
Yeah, back to the quote. I'm so sorry. Frodo says, "I wish it need not have happened in my time." And then Gandalf says, "So do I, and so do all who live in to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide." Wait, no, that's not the same line. What the hell?
I was like, where?
It's kind of.
I mean, it's a line that's like, don't, you know, yes, there's darkness, but have faith. Like, that's the line.
The theme is there.
Sure,
yeah,
there's millions of those in all of the books.
Yes.
That's, so we go back to the orcs and Adar, and they're chanting for him. And
what are you? Are you an elf or you are Dar?
I'm adorable.
Are you a Dar?
You're adorable.
You're such a Dar.
And then, you know, he says this is not the Southlands. That name.
Well, what is it then?
And we get a superimposed title that telling us Southlands are replaced by
Mordor. It was like, I think probably the only like that shot is incredible, like of Mountain Doom in the background, like blowing fire.
Sure.
The superimposed name like change was a little hokey for me, but
it was a little on the nose.
Yeah.
But
I think we all know.
We got it.
We understood. He's saying the Southlands are dead. This is a new place.
It kind of it's again like when you're anytime like a show like talks to your audience as if they're stupid, like that it is when the show kind of gets like not as fun. But that's a very harsh thing to say, but like and that's not talking about this show.
Well, and you have to
general.
remember though, I mean, and Daniel and I talked about this on the one episode we covered by ourselves without Dino, maybe can't remember, but we talked about how, you know, some kids or teenagers or whatever are going into this series having it be their introduction to Lord of the Rings, to Tolkien, to all of that. So if you look at it under that magnifying glass, it's like, yeah, of course we're gonna just like and whenever we've traveled anywhere different in this show thus far, we've seen, you know, they've put a title of where we were.
Yeah.
So,
you know what would have been actually pretty dope? I was just thinking about it, is if they had like pulled like up, like that's something they haven't done in the show yet, which would be really, really cool to see them like, because we've done a lot of like, you know,
flying through, soaring through Middle Earth.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of like map visuals. It would be really cool to see like them like pulling that. For me, I think what would have worked better is if they had pulled up from that shot, like looking down, and then
the bird's eye view,
and have that transition into the map, and then show Mordor on the map. That would have made more sense.
Well, when we make Rings of Power,
we'll do it again.
How we'll make it.
Yes, and we'll do it.
No, that would have been a lot cooler than.
Yeah, honestly, that's kind of what I felt. It's like they might as well have just put in the sound effect. Yeah, like yeah,
like old PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah. I mean, again, very, very gentle.
Still okay.
Like, it did not, like, it didn't take me out of it. Like, I was just like, oh, they could have done it better. That's
but we knew that that's what it was now.
Yeah, exactly. So. Definitely.
I'm curious about going forward the power dynamic in Numenor when Miriel shows up. She's blind.
Right.
And does Farazan continue to like press his advantage? Because
this is a great
I don't know. This goes into spoiler territory if you're not familiar with Tolkien lore and the history of Numenor. Farazan is a very key figure in that history.
Yep.
And its eventual collapse.
Yeah, and he sucks.
And he does suck.
He sucks.
Yeah.
And I wonder if her blindness is yet another aspect of weakness he thinks he can.
It's a metaphor.
Twist, maybe force a marriage or. Yeah.
He's like, Numenor is falling to shit. Can't you see, Miriel? Oops, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I said that word. Yeah. But
she literally
wow.
Can't see.
I mean, episode 7 was just awesome. I
have a feeling that her not being able to see is going to drive her to use the Palantir more often.
Yeah, could be.
Which would be interesting because I'm wondering if like that will be part of the problem. I don't know because like once Sauron gets a hold of one of the Palantirs, like
he'll have like a direct
connection to her and like influencing. I don't know. It should be interesting.
Absolutely.
I liked it. It was good and loud.
It was good and loud. That's the way I like it.
So this is it. Friday. This is it.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
I can't believe it. So the end. Well, because I really don't know what's gonna happen. Because we're not like it doesn't feel like we've already. Well, I get So we've already got like I think that this is the way that this is structured. Because some shows do it differently, where like the finale is gonna be like the big like cathartic moment, but it feels like we have already gotten the sort of like potential climax, and then like the last episode is gonna be like our transition and our teaser for season 2
next season.
But I could be wrong. There might be another giant battle that we're not aware of that they're heading towards. But yeah, that seems unlikely to me. But I think that we're gonna get some more reveals. I think that we're finally gonna, if they don't answer who the stranger and who Sauron is, like I just don't even know what the show is about anymore. I just don't get it. I don't get it.
I think they will, or they'll hint enough that we will.
I feel like they've hinted quite a lot, like at this point.
Yeah.
Like like we have enough. Well, I don't say enough, but I mean we have plenty of hints as to who this stranger is. But I just want them to say it.
I know.
Yeah.
So
I feel like
get on with our lives.
I feel like chances are pretty good that they'll answer at least one of the.
At least one of the two.
One of those.
Yeah, you're probably right. I am pretty sure, but yeah. So we're probably that might be the last conflict that we'll see is whatever this the dweller and all those like whatever that's coming to a head.
Yeah.
We'll probably see what that's about.
Well, because like these last 2 episodes, other than this kind of short scene with the Harfoots, we haven't had much of them in the last few episodes.
Right.
So I think that a good portion of the finale will be focused on that,
which would be really interesting, honestly.
Because it's gonna
like
feel
such a change of pace. Like it's
totally.
And now for something completely different. Oh, and also, I mean, because like the last part is that the other portion of the Numenorians are going back to Numenor, and then we have a band of people that are going to the port city of whatever it's called, to
go head back to Numenor. Port city?
No, I thought that's where like Bronwyn and Arondir and.
Oh, you're right. Yes, the fresh start.
Yeah, fresh start.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Valinor.
And then and we got Galadriel and Halbrand going up to Gil-galad's house.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, now they're gonna get connected to the Elrond Durin story, which would be interesting to see because we haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, those characters haven't
said hello yet, really. I mean, Galadriel and Elrond have.
Galadriel and Elrond, but for like a hot sec.
But yeah, they're gonna be like, "Who is this Halbrand person?"
Yeah.
And then, oh my God, he's Sauron, and I'm gonna be like, "Motherfucker!"
No, he's Mephisto.
You're right. He is Mephisto.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Or Ultron.
Yeah, Ultron Mephisto.
Probably, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Ultron Fisto.
Any other final thoughts?
Fisto. We're just going to call him Fisto for short.
Fist.
Just call him Fist.
Good old Fist.
Oh,
Let's not call him that.
That's a setup for a bad Daniel.
Let's not call him.
episode.
Yeah, no.
You guys are making it way too
Well,
easy
welcome to
for
Inside the Tauntaun.
Yeah. Well,
guys,
that's all I have to say. Anything else
that.
from you two?
No, other than I'm very excited, and I
can't wait to see.
Yeah, finally,
exciting, finally. Well, thanks for sticking with us. If you did, that was actually we got it done. We got it done in less than an hour and a half.
I'm proud of
That's
us.
pretty good.
Absolutely proud.
A lot of info. A lot of
guys,
info to get in there. Yeah.
Need to follow us on the Instagrams and the YouTubes and the TikToks and the things. Specifically Instagram for sure, because we definitely make a lot of our announcements there about our new episodes and things. We are at Inside the Tauntaun podcast, or just at Inside the Tauntaun.
At Inside the Tauntaun.
It's just at Inside the Tauntaun. I screw that up every single time. But yeah, please be a part of the conversation. I mean, if you agree with us or disagree with us, we want to talk to the nerds. Please say hello.
Yeah, come
for goodness sakes.
down. All right, this is Inside the Tauntaun, a podcast in the multiverse of fandom. I'm Alyssa Simmons.
And I'm Daniel Dawson.
And I'm Dino Nicandros.
Yeah, who are you?
You forgot.
I'm Dino Nicandros.
May the force be with you.
Always.
See ya.
Inside the Tauntaun podcast, please like and subscribe.